Hendrik, would you share with us your views on investment that potentially assist to take African companies regional, and how, in your opinion, can the World Bank Group partner with you and the private sector to scale that activity?
Thank you very much, and I'll try not to repeat what Uchi gave a very good framework of how one should invest in these companies and think. But I'd like to start at the other end, because I'm a business person. I once, many, many years ago, was an economist and then tried to be a development economist. I'm now an investor and a business person. So the story I'd like to tell is the story of a few companies which have made it. And during that story, I'd want you to think about the classic SME rhetoric. We often confuse venture capital with SME development, and we forget the development that we need, the examples of winning businesses in all markets. Why has South Africa got 88 of the biggest? Because there are examples around clustering benefits. Standards are set. When there are some winners, and you've seen it in Nigeria of late as businesses have come through and scaled up, and I think the Dangote Group is one great example which gives ambition to a region, which gives ambition to a place, and other businesses to grow. So I would suggest from a World Bank Group and IFC point of view, you are big, and you are big ticket players, and I think it's time we develop the big ticket as well, and not just the politically popular small, because you need them actually to spawn and support the small. What would Korea have been without the Kai ball? The Korean government's trying to beat up the Kai ball for the last 15 years, if you read the local press. Samsung just keeps growing. But look at all those other businesses and the skills and the clustering stuff that's created. If you go and look at the work Ricardo Hausman does at Harvard, which is all about skills development in an economy, you'll see that clustering is incredibly powerful. So that's the first point. Second point, the story I want to tell you. Story of our business. I mean, we compete today globally. We started in one city, in one country as a startup, and we're the first of our kind, the first money management business of our kind, the first integrated financial group of our kind to have grown the way we've done from a developing market basis and actually effectively competing outside. And I think there are many such examples across Africa, regionally or globally. I mean, the Safaricoms in Kenya, Dangote Group is only starting. It just has so many opportunities in Nigeria. But the company I'd like to mention as a poster child, because it is in our private equity portfolio, I have to declare my interest. But many other, as with a good kid, all the uncles and aunts and everyone all claim that they helped develop the kid, the grandmothers, the father, mother, all of them. So IHS, a Nigerian company, when our private equity guys brought them to me, it was Isham Darwish and his people, a small Nigerian towers company with inadequate reporting, pretty entrepreneurial management, rather weak structures and systems, but they had what it took. They had that drive and that ability. And we, along with a number of other private equity groups, invested in them. Today you have, and I think when we invested in, Chris Dirksen is in the audience here who helped do that transaction. I think they had 500 or 600 towers. Today they have 20,000 towers either co-owned or managed. And so they are the biggest mobile telephone tower business, i.e. kind of real estate business of their kind in Africa. They've acquired towers from most of the African large telecom operators, which you've got to run to your meeting, so right, no problem. They will probably, by the end of the year, have, we estimate, an enterprise value of $3 billion, which is equity plus debt. Investors around the world that they've attracted, if I look at the names, Wendell Group from France, Goldman Sachs, a whole lot of top-end private equity and DFI investors, and it's only the beginning. Now, those are the examples I think we must focus more on in our support. And how are we going to focus on them? Do what Uchi said, local capital market deepening. And I think the academic literature and the practical development of local capital market tends to go around regulation and things like that, rather than how can this capital market serve the economy and the companies. And I'd like to leave it there and say capital market development, regional simplicity, allowing companies to go cross-border, and then generally creating a culture where we celebrate that success rather than negative about it, because we as Africans are very good at, a bit like the Australians, when a poppy gets tall, we try to take the tall poppy out. And I think if we can take a lesson from this country, they celebrate the success, and that's why they create so much success, and that's where I'd like to end. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Hendrik.
Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.